What's going on, everybody? Brezzy43 here. I am back with our next video. Today we are going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be doing a team building session for Series 12 as well as a quick laddering uh, session just so you can kind of see um, the early process of tuning a team. Now obviously if you're looking to just play on the ladder or on cartridge, then um, you don't need to do as much tuning as somebody who might be preparing for a tournament. But I like to start with my teams on Showdown first, so I get a good feel for EVs, because changing EVs on Showdown is a lot easier than changing EVs in on cartridge once you've got the Pokemon bred on your team. That way you don't have to go through the hassle of re-EVing, or even worse, sometimes having to re-breed. Um, as always, if you like the video, hit that like button, hit subscribe, leave a comment, whatever you can do. It really does support me, and I really do appreciate hearing from all of you. So we're going to start with a really basic team today. We're going to do VGC 2020. We're going to start with Kyogre Zacian. Now, this is probably going to be one of the most popular um, teams that you're going to see for um, Series 12. It's going to be a starting point. I don't think that it's going to be the best team, but it is going to be very powerful. So when you start with building, I like to think about the members of my team first before I start thinking about EVs and moves, right? I have a pretty good idea what all these are going to be, but I'm gonna start with the core first and kind of flesh it out. I do think Incineroar is going to be pretty mandatory on most teams. Now, it isn't a requirement. You don't have to run it if you don't want to, but it is the best Intimidate Pokemon um, in Series 12. It previously in like 2019, Mega Salamence could be used as a part of the conversation because of the resistances and being a really powerful Mega, but without the Mega Evolution, Salamence is pretty underwhelming. So you're looking at Incineroar as the number one Intimidator, with probably Landorus as number two. Maybe you can make an argument for some fringe ones too, but I think Incineroar is going to be the best one. Um, Second member of the team here is going to be Tornadus. I think Tornadus is just really a really good partner with Kyogre. You can get a really powerful offensive lead off with those two, um, and then you can bring Zacian in the back. But this is your offensive water spout. Then you kind of leave yourself open to Trick Room here, and one of my favorite answers to Trick Room is Amoonguss. I think it's really good it gives you a slow mode as well alongside your Kyogre if you want it. Um, but Amoonguss is really nice pairing with Incineroar. And now lastly, we kind of need something that can Dynamax and Max Airstream, but all like that isn't Tornadus. It doesn't have to be a flying type per se. Um, and one of the Pokemon that I've been seeing rise up in popularity um, against these Kyogre Zacian teams is I can't think of the name of it right now. It's Gastrodon. Gastrodon inside a Trick Room can be really annoying for these teams to deal with, and we have no way of hitting it. So a second Grass type is pretty reliable here. I could see like Rillaboom being okay. I could see Serena being kind of interesting, but I think Kartana is what I want. Kartana is just a really good offensive Pokemon that can Dynamax early, get off Airstream boosts. It's a nice partner with Zacian. Kind of functions similar to Thundurus, how Zacian Thundurus would work. Um, it still matches up pretty well into Calyrex, but we could run Thundurus if we wanted to. Thundurus wouldn't be a bad one either, but I like the additional coverage that Grass provides, and I think Kartana is going to be interestingly well positioned right now. It doesn't match up perfectly versus Zacian, but it can get Steel Spike boosts and Airstream boosts and things of that nature. So this is going to be our 6, and it's going to be pretty standard how we kind of go through it. We're going to make very basic EV spreads to start, and we're going to tweak accordingly from there. So let's start with Kyogre. Because we're pairing it with Tailwind Tornadus, our speed is going to want to be able to outspeed Regieleki, which is going to be, I believe it's 228. We can check that with a calculator. We can go 139 times 2, 278. And timid Alecki hits 277. So this is all the speed that you need to outspeed Alecki inside of Tailwind, which is perfect. I'm going to move my calculator off screen for a bit. And we don't need to go timid. You could run Choice Scarf if you wanted to, but I like the flexibility of having Protect, so I'm going to run that. Um, I also think that we can put a value point in both of these, and I like increasing the lower defense. You could, in theory, go for this. That would also be fine, but I kind of like hitting this 176 number for my potential grassy terrain from Kartana. Um, and the increasing your extra bulk here might matter for some things. There's not really anything that I'm specifically EVing for, so you could also just do this, like I said. But this was the Kyogre that I ran in my Players Cup 3 run that I qualified with, so I'm just gonna run it again. Moves, I like Protect. The strongest move is going to be Water Spout. That's going to be our Tailwind Water Spout mode. And now we need to figure out the last two moves. A lot of people run Origin Pulse, but I actually think Scald is a bit better right now because you don't. There's going to be a lot of Wide Guard in my opinion. I think a lot of restricted Pokemon like Solgaleo, Lunala are going to be popular. Well, maybe not Lunala, but Solgaleo I've seen on the ladder quite a bit, and it does have Wide Guard. Additionally, I've seen Celesteelas again. I've seen Hitmontops. I've seen people using Wide Guard. And Skull just hits Zacian and has a chance to burn. It also hits like Yveltal for nice damage. It also hits Solgaleo for good damage. So I like Scald. And then coverage move, I'm going to use Ice Beam. We have Kartana for opposing Kyogre. I could see Thunder being okay for opposing Kyogre. Maybe we do want Thunder. I think time will tell. We'll leave it for now. And then Mystic Water is likely fine. I think you could explore like a Citrus Berry or something if you wanted to run a bulkier set where you took some special attack out and increased your bulk. But I think Mystic Water is fine for now, just as a starting point. This is going to be very basic, like I said. Sorry, I had a hair there. Zacian, I have two Zacian spreads that I personally really like. One of them is for Jolly and one of them is for Adamant. I think bulky Zacian is best Zacian, but on this team I think it's better to be max speed. Also for Zacian mirrors and stuff, but I personally found success with this spread here. I don't remember exactly what it does, but it still gives you nice damage increase with your rusted or with your intrepid sword at 200. You go to 300, which is really good, and a really high attack stat. And then the rest of the bulk is still like running some bulk on your Zacian is good. I don't think you want to be 252, 252. I don't think it does enough for you. And then Protect, I like Behemoth Blade as mandatory. Play Rough, I think, is going to be mandatory this gen too. And now we could choose between something like Sacred Sword or like Substitute. I'm not sure. Kartana's going to have Sacred Sword, so I'm not sure how often it's going to overlap here. So we'll start with Sacred Sword, but we'll see how often it comes up. Maybe we'll end up switching that for Substitute. So that's going to be Zacian. Tornadus, I don't know where I want the Sash on this team. Tornadus running Sash could be good, but I also know on Pikalytics people were doing lots of different things with Torn. Life Orb, Mental Herb, Focus Sash. Walk-on Berry I've seen to pretty good use. Citrus Berry I've also seen to some usage as well. I think we'll just run with the Focus Sash for now. No, I changed my mind. I'm gonna run. I think we'll just put the Life Orb here for now and see how often it comes up. I think I want Focus Sash Amoonguss on this team, and I might run Max Speed Amoonguss just because it does synergize well in Tailwind. So we're going to run Tailwind. That's mandatory. Hurricane is also very good. The last couple moves is kind of up to you. It looks like a lot of people are running Protect, Icy Wind, Taunt. I think I'm okay with Taunt. Taunt does help against non-Mimikyu Trick Room setters. But then The last slot, I'm not sure if we want like Heat Wave for like the Sun matchup, or if we want Icy Wind or Protect. Let's start with Protect. We'll start with that, and then we'll go from there. We'll change it up if we need to. Um, Looks like a lot of people are just timid 252 252. I don't know if we need that much investment for damage if we're running Life Orb, but I also don't know. Oh no, 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 no. We'll just run this for now, and we'll see what calcs matter later, and we'll see what we're dying to, and maybe we can take some out of special attack. I do think you want to be timid with a good amount of speed, maybe max speed, depending on how common the mirror matches are. So that's Tornadus. Kartana is gonna. This one's an easy one for me. Kartana's gonna be our assault vest carrier. I want to check our speed stat because Kartana's 109, and I don't think you need to be max speed, which frees up some EVs for other things. So let's look at the rest of this list here. So not used, not used. No, 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 no. Nothing here. Use Mian Shao. Maybe Mian Shao. Nihilego. Chomp. And then you've got Palkia and Zard. So you definitely want to outspeed 100s. Nihilego and excuse me. Nihilego and whatever I said before that. Mian Shao. What does Mian Shao hit? 105 is 115 plus 32 times 1.1. It's 161. If they're jolly. So we're definitely going to be jolly. 161 is... That can't be right. No, I didn't do my math right. Let's just check it quick. Maybe I'm just super off on my math. Mian Shao. Whoops, that's Mian Fu. So what is jolly? Oh, right. I'm an idiot. Yeah. So it should be 125 plus 32 times 1.1. Whoops. Times 1.1. 172. That sounds a lot better. So let's go back. 172 means we have to be there to outspeed it. Otherwise, if we're trying to outspeed Zard, it's here. Because Zard hits 167. I think we'll stick with this for now. Just outspeeding the base 100s, I think is important. I don't know how, if it comes up where we're facing a bunch of Mian Shaos, then I'll change it. But I think that's good for now. We want to run a ton of special defense. So 244 is a good number for Assault Vest. You could be 252 if you want, but let me just show you that, so Assault Vest math is weird. Let's say you start with just base. So 51, Assault Vest gives you a 50% increase, so 1.5. You get 76.5, but Pokemon doesn't round, Pokemon truncates. So you're getting 76 stat effectively right now. So if you go to an even number, you're effectively getting 2 stat points, right? So 51 times 1.5 is 76.5. Watch us do this. You get 78. So you're getting 2 stat points for the price of 1 EV, right? So for 8 EVs giving you 1 stat, if you have an even number, you're getting 2, right? So it's unoptimal to do this because you could just add 8 more EVs and get 2 points, right? Because this will give us 79.5. Now if we add which is 79, now if we add another point to it, and we do 54 times 1.5, we're getting an additional 2 points. We're getting an additional point for our one that we've already gotten. Does that make sense? So typically when you EV for Assault Vest, you don't always have to if there's a specific calc you're in mind, but hitting the even numbers is better for Assault Vest. So that's going to be this. We don't need much in defense here. We also didn't need much in attack, but this is a nice, good bulky Kartana to start with. Kartana has a 181 attack stat. If you look, we're actually a higher attack stat than Zacian. We don't have as powerful of an ability, but I mean, Beast Boost can be just as powerful, but we have a higher attack stat than our Zacian, who we had to invest more EVs in. So you really don't need to invest much in your Kartana EV spread unless you're running like Focus Sash or something, in which case, max speed, max attack is fine. Leaf Blade, Smart Strike. We could run Knockoff, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I do think that Aerial Ace and Leaf Blade are correct. People ran this for a long time, but I don't. Knockoff seems kind of interesting because of Calyrex. We'll see what comes up. I could see Knockoff replacing either Smart Strike or Sacred Sword, but I think if you're planning on Dynamax and Kartana, Max Airstream is just way too important, right? So that's 4 members of the team. Let's go ahead and throw on the Focus Sash here, and we're going to go with a max speed Amoonguss. We'll just try max speed out. 219, this is another little trick too. When EVing for Regenerator, remember Regenerator gives you a third of your HP when you switch out. So if you go max speed Amoonguss, which hits 221 stat, right? Or max HP. If you do that, and you take the math, you only get 63 healing for that, or 66 healing for that. Or sorry, is it? Yeah, 1/3. Whoops. So that's not quite right. My apologies. 221 times 0.33 is 72. So you only get 72 healing for that. Or I guess we should just divide it by 3. Sorry. 221 divided by 3. 73.66, right? So you're only getting 73 HP for switching out as it is. So if we look again, 220 divided by 3 is still only 73. 219 divided by 3 is exactly 73. So making your HP stat a multiple of 3 is important for Regenerator purposes, which is why you'll often see people do this. If you want to go even lower, you can 216, 213, whatever you're EVing for specifically. I think this is a fine one to start with, but I could see us dropping some. I could see us dropping some of our HP for other bulk because once we figure out more of what we're trying to survive specifically. Protect, Rage Powder, Spore, and then our last move, I think Sludge Bomb's okay. I also don't hate Pollen Puff. We could also run a Grass Attack too if we wanted, for like Kyogres and Gastrodons and different things like that. Like it also would prevent us from being walled by Steel types. Though I do think I like Pollen Puff more than I like something like Grass Knot or Giga Drain. But Sludge Bomb may be better. Let's just run Sludge Bomb for now. And then lastly, I think we'll just run Safety Goggles Incineroar. I like to have multiple ways to fight sleep when I play against it. And we can't always guarantee that we're going to bring Kartana. So having a second way to fight sleep in addition to Amoonguss is really good because, against Trick Room we can lead Kyogre Amoonguss and then bring Incinerization in the back, and we have 2 different switch-ins for sleep, right? So I do like Safety Goggles. And I'm going to go with a pretty basic Incineroar spread. I think I have one from before. Careful. And we'll go with... Actually, something interesting we could do is we could run Roar. Because the primary Trick Room setup right now is Mimikyu, which you can't taunt because it typically runs Mental Herb. And, I mean, our team does have Tornadus Kyogre as a lead against it, but I'm not sure. Good players play around that, right? Like good players will play around you, hurricaning their Mimikyu and then going for Water Spout. So I kind of like Roar. In which case, I think we should do this. I know Roar doesn't work on Dynamax. I'm fully aware, but I think this is good. I think this will be an interesting thing to start. And for now, I'm just gonna EV for the jump. I'm gonna go there. So 141 to 143, and then I'll just dump the rest into there. We could run Snarl, I suppose. Oh no, we can't. We're running Flare Blitz, Fake Out, and then Parting Shot. So 0 speed better conceals Roar as an item, which I like, and it lets us reposition second outside of Trick Room. So we will always Parting Shot after other Incineroar's Parting Shot, which I think is interesting. So that's our team. Let's go ahead and jump into ladder. I do have an alternate account here, so we'll try some games with this team, and we'll see what happens. All right, so we got a mirror match right away, but they have Grimmsnarl Ilecki instead of a Moongus Kartana. Um, so in the mirror match, I mean their team, unless they Dynamax Ilecki, or unless that, I mean they could have taunt a couple different places, so Moongus isn't that good. Um, but I don't really want to lead. I don't really want to lead like Tailwind versus Tailwind. I think I could see bringing Tornadus in the back to try to get like a late game Tailwind. My opponent doesn't have a lot for Kartana. Kartana looks pretty good here. So um, I'm a little bit worried about the Grim. I'm not sure how to muscle through the Grim. I mean, Kartana only loses to Incineroar here. That's and then say if this thing has Sacred Sword, I guess Hurricane does a good amount of damage to it too. But we could go Kartana Torn. We could try that. Kartana Torn, and then we could bring Kyogre Zacian in the back, or we could go. Let's go Kartana Zacian. No, I'm fine with Kartana Torn, um, Zacian Kyogre. Let's try this. I'm not sure that this will be correct, but okay. So interesting. They read my Kartana lead, I guess. I can't taunt the Incin because it's a dark type, but I can try to get a 50 here and taunt the Torn. Or I could go for damage onto the Incin. I'm not sure. I don't really want to lose my Kartana here, so maybe I'm gonna go into Kyogre. Okay, they fake out there. Okay, they Tailwind. So 123. I don't think they're going to be faster. We could just spout and try to Tailwind. If they have Taunt, this won't work, but we do delaying the Tailwind by one turn is pretty nice. Okay. Okay, they missed our Kyogre. That's a big deal. Okay, Aleki dies. So they were Sash Tornadus. Missing Kyogre does help for sure, but they have their own Kyogre. So they're super weak to Kartana. I think I'm okay. They didn't bring Zacian then? Okay, they did not bring Zacian. I'm not gonna risk the speed tie, so I'm just gonna Scald the Torn. And then Hurricane the Kyogre. Wait. Okay. So now we have Kartana. They don't have a good Maxmon. Incin, okay. So Protect and Max Airstream into the Ogre. And they're on their last turn of Tailwind. And so this should give us enough speed to... Protecting there might be wrong. We could have gone for Scald into the Incin. Okay, they went for the Fake Out. That's good. So we get the Airstream off. Good damage. They Water Spout. It's not going to do that much. And now we have a guaranteed win here of... Well, it's not a guaranteed win, but Scald plus Overgrowth into the Kyogre should be good because we should outspeed now completely. So Scald, Incin, Overgrowth, Kyogre. Okay. All right, and now that should be game because we outspeed, and we have grassy terrain boosted attacks. So we'll Scald and Overgrowth, and Overgrowth should KO because that did 27% through Protect and Intimidated, and now it's gonna do more. Yeah, cool. All right, so pretty interesting mirror match. Them having Icy Wind was a big deal. Um, but ultimately looks like it didn't really matter in the end. But it's important. I don't like to close my tabs. I like to keep my tabs open. So that way I can look back on my games. Okay, so Solgalios Zygarde. I have seen this team popping around a little bit. I don't recognize the supporting cast as much though. Um, Tornadus Kyogre looks pretty good, obviously. It always does. But I don't know if I want Incin, and I can't really do a Moongus. So I could do like Kyogre Torn and then bring Zacian Kartana in the back. Does that make us weak to anything in particular? Like Solgalio's kind of annoying, but we do need to bring Kartana, I think. Kartana is really nice for cleanup. I mean, Rillaboom would work. Rillaboom in defense of Kartana so far. Like that last game we got an Airstream, but Rillaboom would also be really good against this team as well. Um, Kartana can max too. So we could do Kyogre Torn Kartana Zacian. Okay. Alright, so Water Spout Tailwind is pretty free. They could switch into it, but it's not going to matter. I mean, we could also taunt the Clef. But we can do that next turn. I think Tailwind plus Water Spout's good. This should do a ton of damage. Oh, it just KOs Zygarde? Wow, okay. Well. Power of Tornogre. Oh, he said GG right away. Okay. Well, that's a Lecky. They didn't bring Solgaleo. Okay. So who do they fake out here? I could just double protect, but yeah, let's just double protect. Okay. They probably go after the. Okay, I could have Dynamaxed Ogre. They go after Ogre. Okay. All right. So Scald there, Hurricane there. Good damage. I'm okay if they knock out Ogre here. I kind of want it to happen so I can get into Kartana. And it doesn't matter if they Tailwind again here. I should protect to get through the turn, but I'm not sure that I'd take the attack, to be honest with you. But Overgrowth and Hurricane is good. Cool. All right, well, Power of Tornogre there. My opponent didn't lead Incineroar or Solgaleo with Wide Guard, so okay, this team looks a bit more problematic. I can't. They can match my Tailwind, and they have Yveltal. Yveltal is kind of annoying. We could lead Torn Zacian. That loses pretty hard to Thunderous Zacian, though. I have a feeling they're gonna. We do have to bring Kartana for this Gastrodon, so I have a feeling my opponent's gonna do like Whimsicott, Yveltal, Gastrodon, Zacian probably. But that leaves them without a really good answer to my Zacian, so I don't know if they will. I kind of want to bring. I feel like I'm obligated to bring my own Tailwind, though. I guess I don't have to. I can't really lead in Sin though if they bring Thundurus. I just don't think they're going to. I think bringing Thundurus would be really weird here. But people do weird things, so I'm not gonna take that chance. But Kartana as a lead or as a cleanup seems good. Let's do Torn Zacian, Kyogre, Kartana. Let's try that. They did lead Incin and they did lead Thundy. Okay. Huh. Very interesting. Protect here, attack here. Okay, so it is Defiant Thunderous. I'm glad I didn't lead Incin. Okay. It's Life Orb too, okay. So Tailwind. Tailwind Sacred Sword's pretty free. They don't have a switch into it. Unless they have whims in the back. So in that case, Play Rough would probably be the same. I just don't know how much Play Rough would do. I'm going to Sacred Sword. Okay. Interesting. So they chose not to get the speed boost. They have a Zacian here now. So taunt the Zacian, Behemoth Blade the Thunderous. Okay. I could have taunted the Thunderous, but that's good damage. Another max lightning, okay. So they just chose to only increase their speed by 1. Very interesting. So I don't know if I'm faster. 268. I am faster for one more turn. What do I hit it with though? Taunt there. I'm gonna Overgrowth the Thunderous. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so they Sacred Sword. Very interesting. So I'm gonna Protect to preserve my Tailwind. Although, hang on, if I lose my Kartana here, then I just lose. Because the Gastrodon is most likely in the back. Wait, does that matter though? Okay, I missed Hurricane, that sucks. Okay, they bladed there. That was a good play. That was a really good play. Oh, Yveltal. Okay. I think I lose now. I should have gone for an Airstream. Because now the Sacred Sword should kill me, right? How much did Sacred Sword do last time? Was it turn 3? No, it was turn 4. Did 59.4. Okay. Well, I'm still going to Spout because they have to do this, but they're going to Snarl probably. Okay, they got that. Did they Snarl? Oh, I'm faster. Wow. It's a slow Yveltal. Okay, well that should be game over then. Okay, so them being slow Yveltal definitely helped me. I'm just going to Ice Beam. Okay, cool. Well, I don't think I played that one well. I think my game plan was alright, but maybe I should have protected Zacian one additional turn. So here I knew the Fake Out was going to go into me. Taking out Incin right away was probably fine. I think that was correct. And then delaying the Tailwind for a turn was good. And then they Lightninged my Zacian. So here I could have protected my Zacian, but getting the damage out was probably fine. I could have taunted that maybe instead. And kept I don't know if my Zacian would have lived though. Hmm. I don't know if I played that perfectly, but also it's important to know that we haven't brought a Moongus yet. So that's something that I want to keep an eye on. None of my games I've brought a Moongus, and I haven't brought Ensign yet. But I will most likely be bringing Ensign to this game. I forgot what I typically have been doing against this. Double Intimidate's kind of obnoxious. I don't know if I want Ensign here either. Kartana's really good. I just need to position it around the double Intimidate here. Kartana Zacian, Tornogre. That leaves me pretty weak to late game Palkia though. Palkia Whims. Okay. Alright, well we have Play Rough. And Palkia doesn't do anything to my Kartana, so I'm going to Airstream Protect. Do I need to Protect? I think Protecting is probably the safest play. Well, if this is not Focus Sash, right, which it most likely is, but if it's not, then they get a free switch after they set Tailwind, which means I don't think I want to protect Zacian this turn. I think I want to go for a double attack and see what happens. Because if I get the knockout on Whims here, I don't want to not be able to protect next turn if Calyrex comes in, for example. Okay, there's the Tailwind. Spatial Run does nothing. I missed Play Rough. I don't hit that move very often. I should be used to it at this point. Okay, there's the Sash. So now we'll do Airstream again, Play Rough again. Okay, there's the Instant. That's fine. We get the Airstream off. Taunt. Okay. See, yeah, I don't hit that move very often, y'all. Okay, so we're back to neutral. I can't protect anyway, so I might as well attack. I think I'm going to Knuckle there and Play Rough here. That's fine. Okay, it's Berry. Quake. Okay, we take that. Okay, so now does Sacred Sword KO the Ensign? I don't know. We could also, I don't think that they're going to let us double the, so they have to have Protect here, so I think we're going to Sacred Sword there and Play Rough here. Okay, that KO. Oh, we crit. Okay, well, that matters, I'm sure. Unfortunately for them. I think they would have just gone after the Zacian though, but okay. So let's say that it doesn't crit, and let's say they kill Zacian. That still knocks out Instant. I'm still at +2 attack. Then they bring in Calyrex. I go into Tornadus, right? And then I have a Tailwind. I have Tailwind plus attack the Palkia, and then I know that I take very little damage with this. So Calyrex Shadow. Let's say it's Timid Life Orb, right? Kartana. And my set is incredibly bulky. So what is mine? 244. Oops. And then I'm 68 HP. Okay. So Astro Barrage is dealing. Wow, Astro Barrage is dealing so much damage. Did I have any chip on that yet? I did. That was 80%. So that was a guaranteed KO onto the. So I would have had to get the 50-50, right? Well, would I have though? Because I still have Tornadus in the back, and if they're Life Orb Calyrex. Yeah. If they're Life Orb Calyrex, that means that they're not Sash. So Kyogre should still win in the late game anyway. And I could have just spread out the damage. I could have gone for like, so this is dead. Tornadus comes in, Tailwind. I'm faster. I'm forced to target here, which is probably correct anyway, because Quake is probably not doing that much. We could check that too. They weren't Life Orb though, right? Were they? Max Quake. Okay, they were not Life Orb on Palkia. So let's say that they were 256 or 252 or Earth Power to Kartana from Max is not going to kill. So even if I lost the 50 that first turn, I would have I would have set Tailwind and attacked this guy. Quake would have come in. I would not have died unless they crit me, and then I can go again. And then Tornadus can attack that time. Okay, cool. So I think I played that one correctly. Kartana's been really good against these hyper offense teams in my testing with it. So, all right, this is a Tailwind Driftbloom game. Well, I don't see a good answer for Tornogre, so I'm definitely gonna lead Tornogre, and then I'll bring Kartana and I'll bring Zacian, I guess. They have to have some game plan for this, right? What is Driftbloom's speed? $80, so it'll be doubled. Yeah, so Kyogre should be faster. Well, we've been bringing Kartana a lot. We haven't been bringing either of our support Pokemon. So, okay. So Spout plus Tailwind seems free. They're going to guard and attack here, I'm guessing. Yeah. Thundurus should take this probably, but it's going to do a lot of damage. Yeah, good damage. Okay. So they did not get a speed boost. So Zacian here is good. Behemoth Blade. We got the Confusion. That was our first Confusion that we've gotten. We're very bulky Zacian, which is great. They already Dynamaxed, and now we come into Kartana. And we have the speed advantage. Okay, well, Behemoth Blade here, Airstream here. And their last is going to be Zacian, so this could be Sash, which might give me some issues, but I can't comfortably double it and let Calyrex attack here, so... I could have got around that turn 1 play by maxing Kyogre, but I think that this should still work for me. Okay, so it's not Sash. And now we've got even more speed. Okay, they forfeited. Cool. Well, we're really seeing the power of Kartana. We've brought Kartana to every game. We brought the same mode to every game, but that's because we're not really fighting positioning battles. We're just tailwinding every turn because our opponents have had tailwind every game except this one. Tons of tailwind. So I'll do one more, and then that'll be it for this sesh. But this has been good. This is a good team. We are playing on the low ladder. Here is the one we want though. This is a good matchup. So this is going to be an Incineroar lead, but I also want to pressure the Kyogre on the lead. So I'm going to lead Kartana. I'm going to lead Incin Kartana. Although I don't need to bring Kartana. I could bring Amoonguss. I think Incin Kartana might be my best lead that I can make, though. I don't need Tornadus this game. I could also lead Incin Zacian. Instant Zacian does a similar thing, except I don't have substitute on this Zacian, so... But I definitely think Instant's my lead because I can roar the Mimikyu, right? So they're going to lead Mimikyu. They may also lead... They may just go Instant Mimikyu as their lead. So maybe I want to do this. I'll do Instant Kyogre Zacian Kartana. Sorry, my headset's freaking out here. Okay. Alright, so we'll roar the Mimikyu Spout. I think switching to Kartana is the best play, because they may not have brought Incineroar, right? They can only have... They have to have one of these last two here. So I'll go into Kartana. Okay, there's Kyogre. So that's what we wanted to see. Now we'll switch to Kyogre, and they didn't like that very much. And Airstream the Amoonguss. Ice Beam, okay. They're also Scarf Kyogre. And they're going to Spore my Kyogre? Yeah, okay, that's fine. So they locked into that. So I'm gonna burn my first turn of sleep here and then Airstream. Well, actually, I'm gonna switch into Incineroar in case they make a switch. They're Scarf, right? They have to be Scarf. Yeah, because they outsped my Kartana. So I'll switch to Incineroar and Airstream again, just in case they switch Amoonguss out, which they don't. Okay. So now we're back into position. They're out of position because they're Ice Beaming. And now Mimikyu comes in. So we roar the Mimikyu again and we max Overgrowth the Kyogre. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So Kyogre gets knocked out here. Maybe we should have parting shot it, expecting them to switch like that. That might have been better. Okay, well now we can parting shot. They might protect though. I do want to pivot out. So parting shotting the Mimikyu is definitely the smarter play here. I think they're going to protect. I don't see why they wouldn't. So Leaf Blade just to break the disguise. Because now they can... Okay, they did not guard. Okay. Huh. Interesting. We'll go into Kyogre here. I think we might still lose. We'll see. So they're going to Shadow Sneak here for sure. They're going to Shadow Sneak and probably Quake the Kyogre, or they could Ice Attack the Kartana. So Protect and Switch is our best, and hopefully... Did we burn a turn of sleep? I forget. No, we switched right back out, so we haven't... We have to stay asleep this turn. So I'm going to Protect and switch to Incin. This covers, unless they Quake that slot, which I don't think they're going to do. Yep. Oh, they did Quake that slot. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I have to hope they make a mistake here, I think. So Scald, Calyrex, Behemoth Blade, Calyrex. I have to hope that they read into a Protect here. They did read into a Protect. Don't burn me. Don't burn me. He burned me. Okay, so that's over. Kartana. They haven't revealed Protect yet. They may not have it. They may have Trick Room. Oh, they missed. Wow. Well, that's our game now. This person's not happy. I wouldn't be either, to be fair, but I've missed a lot of play roughs either. 5%. But isn't it an 80% accurate move? Yeah, it's 85% accurate. Yeah. I don't know if you can get mad about missing Will-O-Wisp. You did hit one and missed the other. Oh, the high horsepower miss is what they're talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. It happens. I mean, I've missed enough play roughs too. So what could I have done differently this game? I think this is important. So Instant Kyogre was the correct lead. Well, actually, correction. In hindsight, I should have assumed they weren't going to bring Incineroar, and I should have led um, Incineroar Kartana, because then right off the get-go, I can roar the Mimikyu and I can airstream the Moongus. I lost a lot of tempo just being out of position. Um, because then the next turn I can airstream and switch just like I did, but because I didn't do that, I think I was a turn behind. So so if I lead Incineroar Kartana like I talked about at the beginning, they lead Amoonguss Mimikyu. I Dynamax and airstream the Amoonguss and roar. Then Kyogre comes in, and then maybe I don't take a knockout. Maybe I switch to Kyogre and Leaf Blade. No, that still keeps me out of position. Well, Kartana would have outsped if I airstreamed. Kartana would have outsped the Kyogre, so I could have stayed in with Incineroar and Leaf Bladed. Yeah, I think that was my play. I think that was my play. I should have led Kartana like I talked about doing, roared the Mimikyu, airstreamed the Amoonguss, and then the next turn max overgrowth to the Kyogre on turn 2, and then like Flare Blitzed or something. Didn't matter what I did to the Amoonguss. Um and then the subsequent turn I have Roar up again, and they're forced to go into Calyrex. So if they go into Calyrex, then I'm even a better position, because then I can parting shot the Calyrex and airstream or Steel Spike the Amoonguss. But if they go into Mimikyu, I can Roar again. So that, like, they would have to go into Calyrex and Dynamax, right? So I think that would have been the better way to do it. But alternatively, with me being this way, I think my mistake was roaring the Mimikyu there. I think when they switched into Calyrex, I should have predicted that they weren't going to let me roar them again and just parting shot it off the Mimikyu. Because one of the tricky things about Incineroar is trying to catch your opponent, like trying to bring in. You want to be bringing in your Incineroar after Calyrex comes on the field. You don't want to be caught with your Incineroar on the field and Calyrex positioned on the field, right? So like I should have predicted that they would switch out from the second roar and parting shotted them. So, but my Kyogre got put to sleep unnecessarily because I should have just led Kartana, because Kartana Incineroar is a lead that's immune to Spore, and they probably don't go for Incineroar lead into Kyogre. Yeah, I think that was my play. It's tough to know though. Like my next opponent could bring Incineroar to this matchup too, so it's kind of 50-50. But I have enough answers to sleep. I have two grass types and a safety goggles user. So yeah. Oh no, they didn't even miss Wisp. What am I saying? They just missed high horsepower. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, this game was a crapshoot. I should have lost this one for sure. But um, yeah, anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope this was helpful and kind of letting into my headspace for how I play. It's still up. Like, I've only clicked Sacred Sword once, and I've also only clicked Smart Strike once. But I think out of the two of them, boosting your defense is more valuable than boosting your attack, unless they have like double Intimidate spam. So knockoff here could be really interesting. But we haven't brought Amoonguss, so this might be a member that I look to replace on the team, depending. Um, I need more games with the team first, but um, the Kartana being a really strong Dynamax Pokemon for this team is really valuable, and the only other one that we can really max is Tornadus. So, but yeah, feel free to steal this team if you want to and try it out. I think remember you can't roar a Dynamax Pokemon, so Roar is only here to beat Mimikyu because people are running Mental Herb Mimikyu, and it's really difficult to beat. Um, so you have to run. Um, you can't roar. Remember that if you run Roar, you can't roar a Dynamax Pokemon. Only Mimikyu. It's only there for Mimikyu, um, which may not even be worth it to be honest. But the CV spread on Kartana was good. Again, didn't bring a Moongus. This survived Max Quake from Palkia, which was awesome. Um, this is pretty generic. I'll probably end up changing this or rearranging the moves and EVs, and this Kyogre was fine. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Leave a comment in the comment section if you've got any feedback for me, and I look forward to seeing you in our next videos.